Blank screen. Huh. Okay, sorry about that. That was a little too graphic for YouTube, and I know that I just deleted it, so I didn't even want to go there. I didn't want to deal with it. I didn't want them striking me. I didn't want any of that. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and um, post this link so that, let's see, here it is. Yes, today's the 25th. Okay, make sure it was the right one. Copy. All right, so watch this video as soon as you can because it is seriously important. Um, what is her name? Karen. Has her name. Was that the one? There she is. Okay. Karen Kingston. It looks like he's had a lot of people on this live stream that he just did today. Let's put Karen Kingston. So we'll add her too. Actually, we can edit her, scroll her across the bottom. Okay, so that's her name. And here is her, here is this link that I was just trying to do a watch party. And basically what she's talking about, because I haven't watched the whole thing from the beginning. So there's a few people in the beginning that I didn't, like Dr. Artist and stuff. I didn't see that stuff. So I'm going to go back and watch it. But when it gets to Karen, that's the important part that I'm hoping that you guys get what you need to get out of it. And it is super duper important because I know a lot of you are right along where I'm at, and that you know enough about what's going on with the jab and the C19 that there are other things that have come up now that are important that you know. So please get this link, and I'm wondering how. Sure would be nice if they would make it so that you could share a link that you guys could just click on, like in the chat. Well, I guess I could put it in here. Let me put it in the chat. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so I put it in the chat. So click on that and then watch that at your leisure, but watch it as soon as you can because I really believe people need to know this information. And you'll know the truths of it. We've gone as far as we have gone. We know the truth, and we know the basic core of this stuff. So you'll know what rings true and what doesn't. So let's just leave it at that. But please, when you get a chance, watch it as soon as possible because I do believe it will open your eyes. And I wasn't happy. Let's put it that way. And it takes a lot to really, get me weird. And that got me weird. Listening to Karen and knowing that also that God is in control. I still don't worry as much as, people that would worry that don't have God. Because I can't even imagine doing any of this right now without God. I just heard somebody tell me about something about some of the people that have had the jab have spun around in circles and then died. And so I don't know what the deal is with that. It's on a spiritual level. And it concerns me because, hello and welcome, it concerns me to know that people are experiencing the supernatural without having God as their core protection, because He's the only one that can protect us from the enemy that we can't see. And sometimes we can. Some people can. But wish I could have shown that video, but he was pretty graphic. And it wasn't really that he was graphic about anything that was on topic. He was talking about the LGBTQ, and he was going off. And it was quite unnecessary for him. I don't understand. He's, in a way, there are some things that I don't agree with how people talk about other people, regardless of whether they're in the right or the wrong. It's just speak the truth. You don't have to be degrading, and you don't have to be obnoxious or rude. You can just speak the truth. And that's basically it. Because, when it comes down to it, we're all sinners, the good and the bad. And I think if more people realized that, they would treat each other a little bit better. Because it's rough. It's rough when you're surrounded by people that don't know God. It's rough. I couldn't even imagine being around. I mean, even back in the 80s, it was like everybody was, pretty much. I mean, you were an oddball if you weren't, if you didn't believe in God. I mean, it was pretty prevalent everywhere in the 80s and then the 90s, and then it fizzled out into weirdness. Whatever happened, because I wasn't there. But, we all have our place in this adventure. And it is what it is. Okay, so since we're not going to do that, and I had a bunch of stuff that I did want to talk about, but I found some more that I needed to add to it, so I'm going to do that before I bring that up again. I'm still looking for people to join a brainstorming group. If anyone's interested, please drop me a comment. Let's see, let me go over here. Please drop me a comment or send me an email at thedancingdeplorable@yahoo.com. And I'm Milo. Okay, so I'm looking for a brainstorming group, and I have a really great outline for it, and it's a completely you're not going to be attacked for an idea that other people don't necessarily agree with. It's just, something I wanted to do myself, because there's a lot of things that I like to talk about, but I don't have anybody to talk to about it or interest in people to talk to about it. So, but there is one thing I wanted to kind of bring up to you guys that, where did I put that? Is it here? Of course, we know we're going to spend time in Antarctica this week because it's worthy. Okay, I talked about the threes. What I wanted to talk about today, and I'm just going to spend a few minutes talking about it and not go too far into this, because I have some other stuff I do want to spend some time talking about. I had a lot of paperwork I've been trying to go through. I definitely want to get on the pineal gland as soon as possible and back to the Antarctica thing. But anyways, there was this topic that I had come up with, and I found it interesting that, and then there's not even, let's see, I was kind of surprised that I could think off the top of my head as many things as I um, think up. But it comes in line with, people uh, have this place that they come to. Um, and and probably most people call it this. I don't know. I don't know what else to call it, but I've called it that my whole life. So it makes sense to me. But then after I thought about it and started adding some other things to it, I realized that it is a common phrase that's used. So maybe you guys will get it too. But it's in regards to we have a moral fortitude on the most part, most of us do, that we have a place that we can be taken, but there's another place that if it's beyond our moral aptitude, fortitude, whatever way you want to look at that, on whether or not we cross that line or stay behind that line or have the ability to stand at the line knowing that it is the line and what could happen if we did choose to cross that line, in which a lot of people do cross that line. They come to that line, and then whatever it is in their mind overrides that moral fortitude, that moral aptitude, accountability, whatever we can put a name to that. They completely ignore it. It's invisible to them, or the enemy hides it from them. And then they step over that line believing whatever they believe. More than likely, it's some type of a lie at the line. And then they cross over and do the atrocities that they do, which is like murder, mayhem, chaos, and so forth. But I think that it's so interesting that I have come to thousands of places in my life where I have approached that line and had to make a choice on whether or not I was going to, like, okay, I'll give you a great example. Okay, this is like super easy for me. Totally walk away. No even thinking about it. Second thought. It gets put in front of me. That's the line. And there's no way I'm crossing it. And that's a Ouija board. I've seen them. I know people that have used them. I have never touched one, and I have never used one. So that's one line that I have come to that I just got to, and I just knew that was not for me. And I turned around and walked away. So coming to that line, that's what I'm talking about. And I think it really comes into perspective when you think about the parental role of whether or not, you discipline your child, or, am I going to drive my van off of the cliff today? Kind of thing. And it's like you wonder what gets a person to that line, that place, to where they do those things. And what it takes so many of us coming to that place and being in that place thousands, hundreds and thousands of times over our lifetime and never doing anything, never doing any of that. And I just wonder if that is the fact that we stop and reflect on that, if that's not inspired by God, that is his part in our understanding that we have come to that line, that we're making a moral choice of choosing to walk over that line or to stand at that line, or to walk away from that line. And this comes right into the pedophilia, murder, rape, all those things that are the atrocities against mankind. Those people have come to that moral line and have stepped across it and have chosen, made it their choice to take another's life, to, take dominion or control or intimidation or manipulation over another person. Which, try and remember, if they're trying to dominate you, intimidate you, or manipulate you, they're using witchcraft on you. And it's like, I can hear it in my voice when I say things to people, because the words that they have taught us to use and the way to use them are curses that we're saying to each other, and we don't even realize it. But it's just placement of words, one switched out for another. And this happens a lot in the Bible. And it's like, if you can get a Bible from like before the 1800s and then have that Bible to compare to the whatever, the New King James or whatever, and then in the center it has where they've taken scripture out. Or have you ever been looking in the Bible and like you'll see something and it won't have a scripture? Gone. Not even there. Just doesn't exist in that Bible. So it's like, what is it? Why is it not in here? Where do I find it? So I'm just wondering if that, can be found in like Strong's and things like that, on those study Bible apps and stuff like that. Because I notice it more on physical Bibles versus online. And I suggest, if anybody's looking for a great Bible, get one on your phone, because they have the Strong's concordance in them and everything. But let's get back to the Pokey Poke and the C19. Those, that line, we know that they didn't care about that line when they made the things that they made and put them in people the way that they put them in people. They didn't care. But there's a way to fix it. So it's like, God first, of course, and then, I see the way that video, if you guys get the chance to watch that video, I see med beds being basically set up for everybody, and it's going to be like a vitamin C, all the vitamin bumper jump, you could get. It's going to be sold like that. They're going to, and it's going to be like ultraviolet. You're going to get sun. You're going to get inner light. It's just going to be a lot of things. And I just realized something. And it's like, it's really hard to know the things that myself and a few other people in my circle know, because most people are completely oblivious to it, especially when it comes to the Pleiadians and the New World Order and the New Age agenda stuff, all that stuff. It's all related anyways. It's all related. And you're going to go, oh, no, it's not my own. Yeah, it is. Actually, we'll have to go over that again. Uncle Mariah. We'll have to go over that again about how we brought up that column graph that had like the Satanists, the Luciferians, the Pleiadians, and then the New Age, and then the New World, and then how everything in the boxes, it had the list over on the side, and how all the boxes checked for all across the board for all of them. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's really kind of interesting. But Knowing what Trump talked about in the beginning as far as cures for the COVID, I shouldn't even have said that. Um, that I don't know if whatever. I'm just hope that'll whatever. It's hard. Yeah, it's hard when yeah. It's no wonder I don't have views because they throttle me. When it's like I get hundreds of views on Cloud Hub. Thank you, Cloud Hub. And if anybody's over there, I'm sorry I can't. I don't even think chat's working right now. Um, but I'm juggling, so I'm trying to stay on top of things. Anyways, I get way more views on Cloud Hubs. I get hundreds of views. And even TikTok, I get more views than I do on YouTube. And I have like minute videos. Just blows my mind how much they throttle us because of content. Anyways, in regards to the Pleiadian agenda and all that list of things, and that's across the board, everybody's on, doing the same thing. They have the same agenda. And that's basically to annihilate all of us. Or, God's people. Which, in actuality, all the enemy are God's people too. Because all creation is God's. It's whether or not people want to admit that or not. And that's their free will. But getting back to the line, let me tell you, I know everybody, if you hear this, you know what I'm talking about. So it's not like something I'm bringing up that's foreign. And if you haven't come to the line at some point in your life, then hats off to you for not having to make those kinds of decisions on whether or not to, And it comes down to throat punching. Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like people can have all the thoughts that you want, and you're accountable for your thoughts still with God. But it's when they come out of your mouth or out in action, that's when it becomes bad fruit. If you're still dealing with it in here, well, then that's your own issue. It's when it comes outside of you is when it becomes everybody's, then everybody sees it. But that line and noticing when you're out in public, and I challenge you to be the moral humans that we are, that when you see atrocities done to other people in any way, bullying, dominating, intimidating, manipulating, I don't care who it is from, who it's to, call it out. Because it has a hard time hiding after that. It really does. And it's real interesting how some people their eyes just kind of go, bing, and they open a little wider. So know that even just talking about stuff on a low level can impact. But here's what I came up with the line. Because we talked about those threes the other day, where I showed you or talked about the list of threes, how all these things were set up in threes. It's just fascinating to me about those kinds of things. But in regards to the line, this is like 10 or so things that I came up with just thinking about and something to talk about. The white line, which is that white line that we see in our imagination that we come to, and we say that's the white line. We've come to that white line. Are we going to cross it? Yes or no? And we contemplate, and sometimes we sit there for a while and contemplate, and then we walk away. Or some cross over and do what they do and then go to prison. That kind of thing. Crossing the line, and just talking about that, and the ability, because we all have the ability to walk across that line, and whether or not we want to choose to do that or not. And that's where our free will is. And God never interferes with our free will. And we should never interfere with other people's free will. All we can be is a voice, a voice of truth and accountability and love and peace and grace and mercy and all those things. I would think that would keep people from crossing that line, and understanding that there's a better way, and first seek God, because that's always a better choice than crossing that line. Then there's the funny, it's not a funny one, but it's Johnny Cash has the Rock Island line. It's a train. It's a railroad line that goes through a certain part. It's called the Rock Island line. Lines of Coke, Then you have a lineup, people in a lineup for whatever reason. Then you have approaching the line. And you have drawing the line. And are you going to step over the line? Or are you going to jump over the line? So, words matter, folks. Words matter incredibly right now. And think about how you're talking to people too, because you may not realize that you're using curses on other people just on how you greet them. Like, good morning is a curse. It's like, hey, have a great morning day. Because morning is derived from mourning. Mourning, grieving. Even though they've changed it and made it what it is, it's still generating that core. Good morning to you. No, good day to you. Good day. Good day. Had a guy on the bus. Brought that to my attention. It's a great, much better way to reply. Much better way to address. And much better way, and you notice with me, is greetings. I don't say those words anymore. The ones that I just said a minute ago. I say greetings. Hello there. Welcome. Those kinds of things. Because it matters. Words are important. Words are very important. We need to add that. I'm going to be a guest on Sandra, Coffee Talk with Sandra on D-Live on November 2nd on a Wednesday. Hope it's not during Survivor. Probably is. That's going to be so hilarious. I'm going to be going, Sandra. That's going to be funny. Yeah. So, so if you can join me on D-Live and watch that would be great. I'll probably pop a link in as soon as I get it I'll pop the link in before her show that morning for the D-Live. And then if you guys want to catch it, I can do that. Or I could stream her. Like, I could do like a host. No, like, how would I do that? I have to think about that one. Because I might be able to stream her stream like a watch party. Yeah, my thing. Yeah, that might be fun. I'm working on the start. I've got my collection ready to start on my little swords and shields and helmets for the armor, for the puppets and the kids. I'm excited about doing that because I wanted to do something fun and somewhat easy. I am talking about doing an iodine test, which I know I'm lacking. Do and work on and document and see if through multiple ways of addressing the issue that I have medically, homeopathically, I'm going to document and journal on probably TikTok my results from the findings of using iodine on what I'm going to use the iodine on. So that will be interesting. Excuse me. Small mounds bit. Or a nail mound bit. Yikes. Don't forget to vote. Everybody needs to vote. Even if we don't believe in it, we still need to do it. Because it still needs to be proven a point that we are a voice and we are who we say we are, even if they're going to cheat. So just know that. That's my thoughts on it. I would say it's even more important. to vote now than it ever was before. Just for that reason alone. I'm still trying to get a tool so that I can show you guys. I just started I started playing this game again, and I really don't like it, and I don't know why I keep playing it, but I'm fascinated with it because most of the time when I pull these up, I'm like, I just want to get away for a little while and do something, not researching, not dealing with Nephilim. I'm just, it's just nice to game once in a while. And I really haven't been gaming. Past couple days, probably more than I have in the past couple weeks together, combined. But anyways, I'm playing No Man's Sky. And it's basically a universe game. You have space and all that stuff. But that isn't what, because I already have my answer for that stuff, and that isn't what I'm playing it for. I'm playing it for because of the building capacities that they are revealing to us, and the types of equipment and the types of minerals and all the shit that they're freaking around with, playing around with in basement chemistry. And let me tell you, when I say basement chemistry, I'm not even kidding. There's people in basements doing DNA splicing and mutating with pigeons and chickens. There's people doing crossovers with alligators and frogs, so they're getting crossbreeds. And then they're dumping them in the lakes and the rivers and shit like that. And that's why we're seeing all these weird cryptid shit monsters. Now, something to think about also is this is one of the reasons I know that we're close, because this is how it was before the flood. They were just basically genoming everything to death by screwing everything. It's really crazy. Read Piers Anthony. You'll learn a lot about Nephilim. I'm not even kidding. Not even kidding one bit when it comes to Mundania, or the land of Mundane, or whatever the hell they call it there, which I think is funny, because they have love springs in these books. These are kids' books, okay? So particular monsters are getting in these springs, and then if there's somebody else in the spring with them, then guess what they're going to do? Yep, you got it. The hokey pokey. That's what they're going to do. So they basically taught kids about transhumanism, and have been since at least, I don't even know, 80s, 90s, because I read Piers Anthony out of high school, and I enjoyed them because they were, magic stuff, medieval, and all that weird stuff. But it was just silly and funny, and they had great stories, but just the introduction into all the monsters and giants and things like that, it's no wonder they had so much. They had so much hidden stories that they had access to. We're talking the elites, the people with, the great successes in the books, and, sign your deal, sign your life over to Satan, and then you get everything. So they do that, and then they get access to everything that we don't, which is all the old books. And it just shows them how to do everything. And basically, what the left does is the a lot and the right too, and they don't even realize it, is apothecary. Which, yes, I do know there's good and there's bad, but there's more bad than good, because just in processing foods is apothecary. Bad apothecary. Okay? Like had been buying this particular type of sugar for over a year now that my roommate introduced me to. Absolutely loved it. It was a brown, like a core brown sugar, cane sugar. Well, this last bag that I just bought, they've changed something because it was definitely whiter. So as I'm like, I noticed that. But then what I noticed was an increase in, it's gross, and I don't even want to talk about it, and I'm not going to. But I saw an increase in something that shouldn't have an increase. You know, it wasn't pee or anything like that. It was basically just saliva or phlegm. But we're talking like mega, like totally one extreme to the other. There wasn't any, and then there was like, oh my God, what the hell am I eating that's different, that I've noticed that's different than, say, a month ago? And that's sugar, because I think that they put it through another process because they couldn't meet the needs of the many. So they cut back so that they could cut prices, fill the need, use a byproduct, not use the same thing that they were using, or they lost a way to access where they were getting their sugar from. And they got cut off, something like that. Something happened with the core cane that they had access to. Either it wasn't enough or they got cut off from it because they are not using the same sugar. It tastes different, it looks different, and it acts different. And I know this for a fact because I know my body better than the doctors do. Period. Some things, yeah, I wouldn't know because I don't know that stuff. But most stuff, I know when something's wrong with me. I know. And that it was a big enough change for me to pay attention to question it to begin with. And I started questioning it 2 weeks ago. And I've had this sugar for about a month now. And not quite a month, actually about 2.5 weeks. Because they just had it on the shelf again. So I know it's the sugar. I know it is the sugar. It has the green, it's like, it starts with an M, I think an M, but it's got the green label across the plastic. It was really good before, but it sucks now. Totally sucks. It's just like regular processed sugar from City Market. If not worse. Because I'm like, seriously, notice huge difference. So yeah, so pay attention, because you should know your body better than anybody else if things change. I'm looking forward to the iodine journaling thing so that I can get rid of this thing that's on my ear, and I've already had it checked out and it's not cancerous or anything like that. And I'm pretty much sure it's parasitic in nature. So I'm going to attack it, and I want to do a parasitic cleanse. I like that lady on TikTok. I might order her stuff as soon as I get some money for that. Because the binder thing is what concerns me. I don't want shit coming out of my eyes. And if the binder is what controls that and makes it come out one spot, which is where it should, then I'm okay with that, because I think I have some issues in my sinuses, and I don't want shit coming out of my eyes. Nah, I don't want to deal with that, because I do have issues, and I have a feeling that that's part of it, and I would not be surprised one bit. Not even. That may be part of my problem with my ears and stuff, and I even wonder if that's generational or age, because my mom had the same problem. But I also have a duct issue. Something happened to my ear, and they gave me some medication that completely screwed me up. My ear, my canal. But what it is now is like, when you plug your nose and you blow so you can pop your ears. Well, not only do my ears pop, but so the air comes out through my left eye tear duct. So there's something in there. And it's either the inflammation from all the crap that's we're being fed, which found out dark chocolate helps keep down inflammation. And I'm like, I've been on these weird food things, and I just wonder if that's why. Is it's starting to really, I'm listening, and my body's telling me exactly what I need, what I want, and what is being addressed. And I just find it very interesting. I just need to seriously get myself in good health. I'm in good health, but I could be in better health. And I want to start lifting weights because I'm feeling very weak, and I don't want to feel that way anymore. I'm 57, and I feel like I'm in my 30s and in my mind. And it's hard trying to keep up with this old dang body that doesn't want to, listen to me. Because I'm like, I like to do stuff. But I have a feeling that that's part of the parasitic stuff, is the sedentary and the confusion and the fog, the brain fog, the monkey brain, and all that stuff. I think is parasitic in nature. And once we have all that out of our body and we can actually breathe and think, and I can't even imagine being completely free that way in the state I'm in right now already in research. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, I would say when I'm awake, if I play a game that day, I might play an hour or two at the most. But I'm bored with that. It's not meeting my needs anymore, and I get right back into researching or going through paperwork or trying just to listen to music, or Survivor, which is the only thing I watch. Which I'm really glad I watch Survivor CBS on TV when it's live streaming, because I hear the commercials that they're feeding all the sheep, and they're still pushing out the C19 hardcore. Every commercial, there's something. Every commercial break, there's something in there. And I'm in a little tiny town in Colorado called Mesa County, where Miss Tina Peters resides and was she? Whatever she was. And then she was running for Secretary of State. And now we have Heidi Ganahl running for governor, which, on board. Heidi's, check her out. She's, check her out. Definitely we got to get Polis out of there. So get out and vote. 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 Even if you've never voted before in your life, you need to. Seriously. Especially if you know the truth. You need to sign up and get registered and vote. Well, it's too late now to do that, but it's like, holy cow, if you are, you better. And that's another thing that's BS too. If you didn't, in the primaries, and you don't get the vote and stuff like that. So just make sure that you get and be a part of, even if they're ripping us off and cheating, we're still overwhelming them to make it. What cracks me up about is, even if they cheat again, which we know they are going to do, the fact that they have to double down, double duty, and try and trick and fake things even more than they had to before, because of the enormity of the votes. Because if they're so inundated, everything that they do is going to be so blatantly obvious. There's, like a lot of it was for the last one, but Yeah, people are still not addressing it. But we'll get there. And no, it's not too late. It's never too late. There's always room for change for anything. Or we can just abolish the entire government, which is what I think that we should do. We should just everybody, leave one person at home to guard. Everybody else get in their vehicles and drive down and remove them all from office. Fire them all. Everybody go together and fire them all, because there won't be room for anybody else to do anything else. And it's not an insurrection. It's in our Constitution. If we feel that we think the government is corrupt, we have the right to go and remove them together. We do. And we could do it. And we don't need guns. We don't need anything like that. We just need to show up. Nobody needs weapons. We are the weapon in our form of a body to show up. And I'm not even kidding, people. There are absolutely not, oh yeah, they're going to go, the insurrection, blah, 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 blah. Let me tell you something. They could try and block us from getting there. We'll just park our cars and start walking. And then the people that are on the other side of the line will come in and start picking us up and taking us there. You think I'm kidding? Not kidding one bit. Because when it comes down to it, because it is like the line. It is like the line. When it comes down to it, the righteous will arise. And who's got our rear guard? Who's got the rear guard of the righteous? That's who you got to watch out for, folks, is the rear guard. Because that's God himself. Because when he rises that righteousness within us, and we become one in his righteousness, y'all don't have any idea what could happen. I do. He shows me often, reveals to me often what that's like, what that looks like. And if I had a place to paint, I'd be going nuts painting right now. I would just be dirty every day from painting what I'm seeing, because there's so much. And it's so vivid and righteous and full of mercy and grace beyond measure. The awesomeness of God in his glory. I just can't. It's too hard to explain. You can't put words to it. But I understand some of these artists, how they like Kirk Shiflett. He's a painter. If you like nature painting, he is a amazing artist. I deleted my Facebook and forgot to get in touch with everybody before I did that. So I'll find him somehow. But wonderful. If you can get a piece of his artwork, he is amazing. He's got some wonderful, wonderful works. But I understand where he's coming from, because he gets that. He paints that. What he sees, what he feels, what that emotion is. You can see it in his paintings. And I can see mine in my mind, but it's just in a lot of ways, I don't have any way to express myself right now. And it's very hard when you're somebody like me, when you don't have a way to express yourself, because it comes out in other ways, loud and obnoxious and things like that. And it's rough. But I need to get somewhere and get some of this out, because I have some talent that, I could be using to support myself. And that's what I'm going to start working on is working on that, because I'm a wicked coil worker. I can make perfect pots out of coils that would blow your mind. That it was like, I remember the first pot I made was, it had to be a certain height, and we had to, be approved by the professor and everything like that. And mine was just, I have all my photos from it and everything. It's just absolutely was gorgeous. And then my professor helped me put glaze on it and ruined it. Because she like triple dipped the lip, and I wish I wouldn't have let her touch it. I wish I would have just done it myself. Because it ended up having like drips come out and rest on the pot. Other than that, it was like freaking perfect. It was black on the outside, and it was the Coleman red on the inside. But it's this big around. I still have it. It's this big around, and it's about, probably about that tall. It's 20 inches maybe. Perfect. I mean, it's just, I had a cutout that I had to shape it to match it when I was doing my coils. So I had to make that shape exactly like my cutout. So, I mean, it was very precise. And I'm telling you, it was precise. I got an A in that class. But it was beautiful, and I have skills, and I want to utilize those skills for God's pleasure of art. And I have issues with and that was one thing I will bring up, is the idolatry. I found it very, very odd, the stuff that I found in regards to graven images and idolatry. And I may do that tomorrow, because I think it's important to know that as an artist, that you guys need to know who the bad artists are, what to look for in regards to what bad art is. And I think that once you understand what a graven image is, image is, and then idolatry, because that's basically what graven images means, is idolatry. So it took me, in Young's Concordance, it took me, I have like 30 scripture references, at least, maybe 50. So I'm going to do that tonight, and then we'll talk about it tomorrow. But I just found it very interesting. I'm like, I had no idea. I was like, Lord, because I have like mask stuff that I've done for my own face, but I've manipulated it enough to where it doesn't like look like me or anything like that. I've done totally different things with it, but I'm still having issues with the graven images, and even photographs. I'm questioning them. I haven't come to the conclusion yet, but I think, just questioning it is a good place to be. Because if that's a form of idolatry, you're putting it up. It's a graven image of somebody. I'm putting it up on the wall, or putting it in a frame, in a place of recognition, on a pedestal, whatever. That's any type of anything. That's a type of worship, and it's hard to put all that into perspective and trying to live within the 10 Commandments. Let me tell you what, folks, it's tough. If you are a person that believes in the 10 Commandments, and not only believes in them, but wants to live by them, and if you are an American that has never had any training or any information, let me tell you, it is hard just understanding how to observe the Sabbath and what that means. That in itself. And tithing. There's just a few, and people say, oh, that was abolished with Jesus. No. The only thing he did was save us all from sin, if we choose to accept that he is who saved us from our sin. That's what he came here to do, because we ruined it in the garden when we gave our birthright to Satan. And that's exactly what we did. We relinquished our birthright to Satan by eating the apple or the fruit that God told us not to eat. He gave us free will to choose. And we chose wrong. Simple as that. And then I think that's why he kind of knew it. And he already had a plan. But he thought it was worth it. He thought we were worth it. All of us. Not just us believers. All of us were worth it. I don't care how far down you're down that dark hole. He's always there ready to take you in his arms and love you like nobody has ever loved you before. I can't tell you that. I can't tell you that. I saw a lady on TikTok. She's standing at the gate. No, she's standing at the Y between the narrow and the wide gate with signs. I can't remember what she said her sign said. But I realized that I had one and I was there too. And I had been there and didn't realize it. Since 2008. My sign, I wish I could remember what she said her sign said. But I got it. My sign said, and you've heard me say this before, things are not supposed to be like this. Things are not supposed to be like this. This is not what God intended for us. And it's interesting that particular, I would say probably 2007 is when I really actually heard it for the first time, which is right in the middle of I was not successful as a straight person, but I was very successful as a lesbian as far as relationships. And as far as that goes, just longevity. Had a six-year relationship. And wasn't married, but common law, basically we were. And it was a bad divorce. Very, very bad. And I learned a lot. And it was during that is when I think that I was encountering God without realizing I was encountering God, because there wasn't anybody else there for me. The LGBT community basically took the side of somebody who thought that cheating was the answer to whatever she thought the answer was to my 6-year relationship girlfriend. Thought that it was better to get advice from them than to have a discussion with me to talk about things. So that is where I knew that the LGBTQ community was full of shit. And I'm not afraid to say that now because I'm a lesbian. And y'all are going to say, well, you say that you're not. Well, I sit there and say that I'm not on every platform, and all you guys do is say, oh, yeah, whatever, you can never stop being gay. So, pick one and stick with it. Okay? So it's like the LGBTQ community has been nothing but bullshit to me, have been nothing but not there for me because I had morals. And they don't like people with morals. They want you to be as immoral as they are. And they didn't like that about me because I didn't want to do that. Because I still, the mentality that where I was in my gaydom, not D-U-M-B, D-O-M-E, okay? Yeah. Was the 1950s style, butch femme. That was the mentality of where I was with it, with being gay, butch femme, male, female, male, female. That's how it fit in my head. And my particular persona was definitely male because I'm very loud. And it's interesting because I think that is what happened to me because of how men treated me as a straight woman and how they talked down to me and made demands, unrealistic demands on me on first dates and stupid shit like that. Like, I'll continue dating you if you can lose weight on your legs. I'm like, I think it's time. I think my mom is calling me. Can you take me home? Thank you. Yeah, and trust me when I tell you that it was hard for me to be straight because I didn't fit the part. I was too tomboy. I didn't look good in makeup. I absolutely did not look good in feminine dresses, anything feminine. I look like a cross-dresser. So that didn't fit. And I don't know what was going on. I don't know if it was just that push-pull of the social engineering bullshit. And God was, already in and dealing with me with that and saying, no, you are who you are, be who you are. It's okay to be a tomboy. And under the circumstances of not knowing what happened to me as a child, something traumatizing happened to me as a child that I cannot remember. But from a very young age, no dresses. Adamantly, no dresses. I felt very vulnerable. Easy accessible. That's how I thought of dresses for men. And I understand the aspect of the women and how they like it and it feels good and that's great. Okay? But here we are again, push-pull. How are we supposed to be as men and women? According to God, not according to the world. So it's no wonder that it's been my entire life a push and pull me. Push and pull me, push and pull me with everything. It's no wonder. It's really not. And I look back now and I'm just like, where are we going, God? Because you've obviously got me going somewhere. That you've had me go through all of this stuff for a reason. And I just find it very interesting that here I am. And it's so important that we be at the crossroads telling people to not go that way. That's not the way. And the 10 Commandments and that stuff and how important that stuff. I mean, it's really coming. And back again to the Midnight Ride group. Watch them, follow them. They have good information. It's really good. I really like them. And I love bacon. If I have to give up pork, that's going to be huge. I'm not even kidding. And I just don't know where it's all going. And how, as all of us Americans can deal with that. We've been raised since babies drinking bacon juice. I mean, you might as well put it like that because first bacon we got. Give me more. I remember the first spoonful of food I gave my son, like a little bird. I'll never forget that. He came at it. I'd never seen anything like that in my life. I'm like, my God, are you hungry or what? He was starving. He was big. I'm telling you, my son was big. He was 8 pounds, 1 ounce, 22 and a quarter inches long when he was born. So he was automatically out of 3 months to 6 months, or 1 to 3 months of clothes. He was automatically jumped right into the 3 to 6 months. Okay, so that's birth. And he was always ahead of everything. So, at 3, I had to stop carrying him on my hip because he was too big. 11, he was 6 foot. Yeah, he took all my bone density, and I lost all my teeth because of him. Just kidding. No, I didn't, because I have teeth. They're fake. But no, I lost my teeth because of metal, I think. The metal in my body. And a few other things, I'm coming to the conclusion. And I wouldn't be surprised if fluoride rots our gums. Not our teeth, just our gums. And then the dentist goes, oh, let's do some deep tissue cleaning. No, you're not ever doing deep tissue. And if any dentist tells you that you need deep tissue cleaning, don't do it. I'm telling you, don't do it. Find another way that's a homeopathic way that you can soak your mouth in something. Do not let them take a pick to your plaque. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm telling you, folks, do not do it. You will see a rapid gum loss like you have never seen in your life, and your teeth will start falling out. And if you've had this happen to me, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, they did that to me twice before I figured it out, and then I was pretty much screwed. And I lost everything. The last time I went to the dentist, I think I had 8 teeth left. And that's the one thing I can thank Obama for. The only thing. And even that got jacked up. Because the dentist, Comfort Dental, the dentist, instead of working with me to try and fix the problem, because they made them line up incorrectly, so that when I chews wrong, I have to move my teeth over in order to get a flat chew surface, right? So I tried to explain that, and his answer was he told the aide to grind my teeth down. So I sat there while she did it, before I could do anything, she's already doing it, and it's like, I just cried. But I still got my smile back and my ability to talk again. And, yeah, and to eat again. And that's a whole other story too. But yeah, so interesting times. So tomorrow we're going to do the idolatry and the graven images, because I think that you guys really need to know about the artist that you're buying artwork from. You need to be seriously into finding out everything you can find out about the artists that you like, because it's a deep, dark world. I went to school and dealt with these people, and I had to say nice things to them with their crappy, nasty art. Okay? And if any of you watch it, you know who you are. And yes, your crap was nasty. And most of them were from the LGBTQ community. Most of the nasty, crappy art, that was where it was from. That everybody's like, oh, that's so funny. Oh, ha, ha, that's so great. No, it wasn't. It was nasty. And I mean, even these guys that are making these huge dragons, they're amazing. They're beautiful. They're absolutely amazingly gorgeous artwork. But if anybody takes that and puts it on anything, it instantly becomes an idol. And that's what That's why I'm like asking God about the art stuff, because it's like, how can I make art? I think that's why I'm leaning more towards functional art, but being creative with that. So like I like to do vase work, like coil work, but I also like to be creative with that, like putting rocks and water pattern swirls and ducks and reeds in the coil work. Like if you're just doing all coil, because you can smooth the coil out and leave the decorations like the rocks and the water swirls and stuff like that, and just smooth out the coiled area or leave it, and it poses that more of an impact. So I think that I'm going to pray about that, because I think it's important as an artist to know where God draws the line. I have to be at that same place or I'm crossing the line. Here we are back to the topic of the beginning, crossing the line. I do not want to cross the line with God. He's the only one I have. He's it. I have nobody but God. Thank God for my roommate. Seriously. Seriously. I'd be dead. So, I praise God every day for where I am. Even though sometimes I feel so completely frustrated with where I am. Why can't I keep a job? Because I can't tolerate the bullshit. Or the people that are dishing out the bullshit. I don't tolerate it anymore. I'd rather be broke than to have to deal with these assholes. And see, this is something that this is where my comedy and God is really working with me on this, because in the back of my mind, I have all this stuff. You guys, you have no idea how much crap and comedy and stuff that I have back here in my file cabinet, that as soon as I realize how I can bring it out and implement it here, how much you're going to go, oh my God, it's hilarious. Because it's like these little things, lights go off. And it's like I'll save something, but now I know how to save them, and I can pull them in and put them into my live stream information, or just share it, kind of thing. That it's just super easy to do. Like my Bill Murray thing I was trying to do. But see, what I have to do is I have to click on those things, take them out, put them in another classification, so that when I bring them in to show them through here, it doesn't get the copyright stuff, and it doesn't have all the commercial bullshit coming through too. And that's what I want. I just want the little clip. I don't want the commercials attached to it. I just want the funny. Yeah, just want the funny. So yeah, so idolatry and artists, and if you have anything that you think might be a graven image, think about it. And I would think that I've been asking God, if I do, show me so I can get rid of it. I'm trying to think if I have any carvings that were, I think they're already gone. I've already sold them or whatever. I sold one piece of artwork. Here, let me show you one. So you kind of get an idea of what I'm about. And I have a bunch of bears that I did castings of in Foundry. And I did one that's aluminum. I did one that's aluminum, one that's iron, and one that was plaster. But this, I did a mask of my face. I used like foil, and then I used the wax, and then I did the porcelain dip, and then I poured aluminum. And this is my outcome. There's me. But that's that's from the university. I went to Colorado Mesa University, but that's one of my pieces. Um, and that is just like, here, I'll fold the dollar bill for you. Here you go. That's how easy that was to make. I mean, easy peasy. I could make that in my backyard with like a little built-in, like my own foundry where I melted the metal and stuff in my own little thing. I could make those in my backyard. That's how easy those are. Well, I think probably not though, because the porcelain that you have to dip, and then you have to hang it, then you have to dip it, and then you have to hang it, and then all the piping that you have to put on the wax so that you get the furthest part, when you pour it, so that it gets all the way to the base of your sculpture. It's a long process. Super easy though. Well, actually, that part isn't easy. It's kind of complex, but the dipping is what takes forever. And then you have to put a certain grit over it each time too, I think. Like dip it and grit it, dip it and grit it. It's crazy. Then when you get ready to pour it, you have to heat up the porcelain receiving vessel in an oven and get it at a high temp so that when you pour the liquid molten metal into it, it doesn't completely shatter your piece. It has to be as close to the same temperature, otherwise it just explodes. But I actually want to go to the college. I like the slag that comes out of some of this stuff. It makes some of the most interesting forms, organic forms. I like that part of the process, is those the drippings that come out of these things. It's very interesting. I actually did a piece, a very small sculpture. I wouldn't mind doing like a very large one, but I did a small one. It was probably like this big. But I had a little piece of that magma um, stuff that came out of after the foundry pour of iron and the slag that was left over. And I added like all these little pieces of wire and these like glass beads to it, and some other fuzzy stuff and some wire fuzzy stuff, and it was really cool, and like an alien meteor type looking thing. It was pretty cool. I was like, that was fun. That was a little bit out there, but it was fun. It was different. I could see putting that in a pot with a plant and it being cool. Yeah. But yeah, so be aware of your artists, people that you follow. Super important. Um, it's very interesting. I wish I had it right in front of me, and I could tell you more about what I was thinking about it. But I'll go over it more tomorrow. Um, but it's truly a mind boggler for me right now on being an artist engraving images. And even if you're painting a painting of someone, that's still, I'm like I said, I'm researching it. It's very important to me to that I understand, because I am not going to be making idol worship stuff. I don't want that. That's why I'm thinking like postcards, or like cards, like birthday cards, and doing things on the scriptural end for, sharing with others versus putting on a pedestal and hanging on the wall kind of thing, which is what we do with art, which I actually don't have any art on my wall except the Constitution, which I'm questioning that being on the wall. Because everything that came into this country, even though we want to say it's all for freedom and all for us and everything like that, is still Masonic and Tartarian. So I don't know how I feel about the flag. I don't know how I feel about this country and the concept of freedom, and that it's all been a lie from the beginning, and a form of manipulation, domination, and intimidation just from our language, and how they've used that against us. I'm not finding any peace in anything except God at this point. Not America, not anybody, not Trump. I have no faith in Trump whatsoever other than being the lesser of two evils. And that is what it is. And if you don't feel that way, I'm sorry. It's my opinion. You don't have to have the same opinion as me in order for us to be friends. Because basically everybody is either not on the Trump train or are on the Trump train, or they don't care either way, or they believe like I do. It's a lesser of, it's like good cop, bad cop. They're both bad, but one's pretending to be good. And that's where I have the problem, because I notice things that I noticed. I'm not going by what other people say. I'm not going by what he's done or anything like that. But he has said some things, and he has referred to some things that made me pay attention closer. And then other things started revealing themselves when I started noticing. And as soon as you start questioning things, you start noticing things. That's why I say question everything. Anything and everything, everyone. Anything and everyone. Anything and everyone. Motives. Ulterior motives. That is a general, decisive way of doing things in America. It is what it is. Okay, we're going on an hour and a half, and I totally was going to do 30 minutes. I always say that. It never happens. And does anybody even care? Does anybody even watch these? I know Cloud Hub. Hey, you people on Cloud Hub, I love you. I love you people on Cloud Hub. You know why? Because you watch everybody. You do. Even me. Thank you. Thank you, Cloud Hub. I love you, Cloud Hub. Even if we can't chat right now, I'm looking forward to when we can. Because I want to hear from you. I don't get very many viewers on YouTube. And I don't get any on DLive, even though I have 165 followers. Nobody ever watches my replays either. And I don't care. I mean, I do care, but it's like, that's not why I'm doing this. I'm doing it because I'm told to do it. And I'm okay at it. But thank you, Cloud Hub. And thank you, Greg Harvey, for shining the light on Cloud Hub. And Cloud Hub, thank you for providing a platform where we can be ourselves and show what we want to show and share what we want to share without having to worry about everybody breathing down our necks about the stuff that we want to share with people. We're not looking to make a buck. We just want to share stuff. So thank you, Cloud Hub. And thank you, Cloud Hub viewers. You guys are the best, I'm telling you. You're the best. TikTok too. TikTok's really good. I get way more TikTok and Cloud Hub viewers than I ever get on YouTube. After the fact, during the fact, I actually definitely get more viewers when Cloud Hub is streaming, because it will stream and people will watch because they're interested in finding new content to watch. And I'm for that, trust me. And the funnier the better. We need more funny. More funny. Thumbs up for more funny. And I'm going to work on that because I want that. I need that. And that's always been in the back of my mind for 20 years. Ever since YouTube came out, I was always interested in YouTube. I'm like, that would be really fun. Dancing. Let's do some dancing. So I'm going to lean towards that. That's something I'm going to do. But that's going to be Cloud Hub and DLive only, just because I can do music there in those places and won't get in trouble for it. So if you like dance stuff, we're just going to be goofing around. I'm going to try and do that at least once a month, maybe once a week. We'll see how it goes. But tomorrow, stay tuned tomorrow, and we'll do the the idolatry, because I want to do art, but I'm stuck in a place, and I think that's why I've been stuck, because and haven't been able to expand on it, because my understanding, I've been too rot on it. um Not rot, um like wringing your hands, rot, that's what I meant. I don't even know how to spell it, but it's that important to me that I do not want to offend my God by making idols at all. You know what I'm saying? So if I can make coil vases that are beautiful and people like them, or whatever, postcards, birthday, whatever, I just want to be okay with it with God, because I don't want to cross that line ever with God. And I always bring, when I come to that line, I always now, I talk to God about it, and I address Him about it. And sometimes I argue with Him about it, and I get upset, and sometimes I cry, and sometimes I'm all over the board with it. But the whole thing I think I'm trying to say here about the line is, we all have the capacity of bringing ourselves or being confronted with that line in our lives. But whether or not we have the capacity to be moral human beings, full of compassion, grace, and mercy for our fellow man, that we can recognize that line, know what it is, and stand behind it, knowing that we can trust God, knowing that we can be okay with not crossing that line, and the implications that that really does reveal to our core, I think, is that every time we walk away from that line, it's a test. Sometimes you wonder, what God is forging in the fire. I pity the fool. God is making some weapons. And I don't mean weapons of destruction. I mean weapons of peace and mercy and grace and righteousness. And I think I'm one of those. For wherever it goes, it's knowing that other people have been through what you have been through is something. It's something. And know this, I don't care how bad off you are, how deep in you are, how far gone you think you are, how much they've taken from you, how much they've hurt you. There is nothing that they can do to you that can take God away from you once you got Him. Nothing. Nothing can separate us from God. Nothing. I was a Christian before I became gay, and I learned a lot. And it's, I think, what kept me from taking the easy way out so many times, just like so many other people. Watch that video, you guys, if you get a chance. Major important. It's in the beginning. I don't know. I think I might have put it in the description. Sorry, totally had to blow my nose. That's totally gross, and I don't like doing that, but my apologies. But take care, everyone, and I'm going to drop it now because we're at 1 hour and a half, and I'll be back tomorrow with the idolatry and the graven images, and we'll do a deep discussion on that. And it's very interesting, and I think you'll like it. So join me tomorrow. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you found something in here that helps, brings hope, brings comfort. Here's my hug to you virtually. I'm a hugger. If you meet me, you're going to get one. So just be ready. I guarantee it. Have a blessed night, and see you tomorrow at, let's see, I'm shooting for 3:30. That's what I shot for today, but like I said, we had some freeze coming in. We have some special things we had to work on. So 3:30 tomorrow, and not doing 9:30s at night anymore unless it's a special event. And I'll see you tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Take care, everyone. Love you. Love you. Goodbye.